Bread, the humble staple on every British kitchen counter. Golden crusts, soft slices, the promise of simple nourishment. But what if that promise is a lie? For those of us over 50, hidden dangers in mass-produced loaves could be silently damaging your heart and spiking your blood pressure. Today we expose 9 UK bread brands you should never trust again. Number 9, Hovis. Coming in at number 9, we have Hovis, once the pride of British baking. That famous brass band advert from 1973, the boy pushing his bike up a cobbled hill. It felt wholesome. It felt real. It felt like the Britain our parents knew. But that image belongs to another era entirely. The Hovis you buy today is not the Hovis your grandparents trusted. It is not even the Hovis from 10 years ago. In recent years, consumer complaints have flooded forums and review sites across the internet. Customers describe loaves that feel dry, hard to the touch, with a rough texture nothing like bread should have. When you press it between your fingers, it crumbles instead of springing back. Some say it looks like it has been frozen and defrosted with a strange greyish tinge to what should be golden brown crust. Others report an unusual sweetness that was never there before, a cloying, artificial taste that lingers on the tongue. One reviewer on Trustpilot wrote that the bread was so sweet it tasted nasty, like something had gone terribly wrong in the recipe. Another said they would give it 0 stars, if possible. The texture was unbelievably bad. Once eaten, it is an experience you want to forget, but unfortunately, it is not possible. But the texture and taste problems are just the beginning. In August 2024, the Food Standards Agency issued an urgent recall affecting Hovis products due to potential metal contamination. Metal fragments. In your morning toast, the FSA warned consumers not to eat affected products and to return them immediately to the store. The recall was issued by Rathbones Kier, affecting products sold through Morrisons as well as Hovis branded items. Think about that for a moment. You wake up, you make your toast, you spread your butter, you take a bite, and somewhere in that slice could be a piece of metal small enough to swallow but large enough to cause internal damage. For seniors managing high blood pressure or taking blood thinners like warfarin, even microscopic metal particles pose serious risks. Your digestive system is not designed to process foreign objects. For those with weakened immunity, existing gut conditions, or anyone who has had bowel surgery, the consequences can be severe. Metal fragments can cause internal bleeding, perforate the intestinal wall, or lodge in tissue where they cause chronic inflammation. And the ingredients list reveals more concerns. Hovis uses calcium propionate, a preservative linked in research to blood sugar spikes and potential insulin resistance. A 2019 study published in Science Translational Medicine found that this preservative increased glucagon levels and impaired insulin action in both mice and humans. The researchers found that propionate led to significant rises in hormones that increase blood sugar, while reducing the body's ability to respond to insulin properly. If you are managing diabetes or pre-diabetes, if your doctor has warned you about your blood sugar levels, this is not an ingredient you want appearing daily in your diet. And it appears in slice after slice, day after day, accumulating in your system. The Real Bread campaign has repeatedly called out Hovis for marketing sourdough products that contain dried sourdough powder and added yeast, not genuine fermented sourdough at all. They call it sourfaux. The word sourdough implies a traditional fermentation process that aids digestion and creates complex flavors. But dried sourdough powder is just a flavoring shortcut. You get the marketing benefits without the health benefits. You think you are buying something healthy. You are buying a marketing illusion. Real sourdough takes time. It requires skill. It costs more to produce. Industrial manufacturers do not want to invest that time or money, so they create products that sound traditional but are made using the same industrial methods as everything else. Why do you think billion-pound food companies keep having recalls, yet their products are still on every shelf? Number 8. Warburtons. At number 8 we have Warburtons. The family name, the friendly face of British baking, Warburtons likes to remind you at every opportunity that they have been baking since 1876. They show you images of rolling farmland and honest labour. Jonathan Warburton himself appears in advertisements, radiating trustworthy family values. But behind the wholesome advertising lies a very different story. A story of industrial processes, chemical additives, and marketing designed to make you feel good about products that may not be good for you. Pick up a loaf of Warburtons. Any loaf. Flip it over. Read the ingredients list carefully. Calcium propionate. Emulsifiers E471, E481, E472E. Soya flour. Preservatives designed to keep bread unnaturally soft for days beyond what real bread should ever last. Flour treatment agents. Vegetable oils including palm. This is not the simple recipe of flour, water, yeast, and salt that bread has been made from for thousands of years. This is a chemical formulation designed for shelf life, texture manipulation, and cost efficiency. Most people never learn how to fix this, but we will break it down at the end of the video. Stay with us. Studies have found that calcium propionate may increase blood sugar responses and interfere with insulin sensitivity. Research published in Nature Metabolism showed that high levels of propionate in the bloodstream could increase the release of glucagon and fat-storing hormones, potentially altering insulin sensitivity in ways that may contribute to type 2 diabetes risk over time. For seniors already managing blood pressure or taking heart medications, these hidden additives could be quietly undermining your health without you ever knowing. Your doctor adjusts your medication, your blood pressure remains stubborn, your blood sugar fluctuates, and nobody thinks to ask what you are eating for breakfast. Warburtons also falls squarely into the ultra-processed food category. The emulsifiers listed on the label E471 and E472E are synthetic compounds added to improve texture and extend shelf life. According to research cited by the NHS, ultra-processed foods are associated with increased risks of obesity, hypertension, and type 2 diabetes. These are not fringe studies. These are mainstream medical findings that major bread manufacturers prefer you never discover. And then there are the pesticides. Over half of wholemeal bread in the UK has been found to contain 2 or more pesticides, including glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup. This chemical is sprayed on wheat crops just before harvest to speed up drying. It remains in the grain, it remains in the flour, it remains in your bread. These residues accumulate in your body over time. In June 2025, the Real Bread campaign highlighted Warburtons for launching a new range marketed as sourdough but softer. The name cleverly implies sourdough while admitting it is not quite the real thing. But the products are manufactured using the Chorleywood bread process, an industrial method invented in 1961 that uses mechanical energy and additives to speed up production. The bread contains baker's yeast and additives. It is not genuine sourdough. The company even admitted in 2018 that their earlier sourdough product was like white bread with a sourdough addition. Their own chairman acknowledged this publicly. They are charging premium prices for products that do not deliver the health benefits they imply. The 2025 version costs 87% more than a standard toasty loaf of the same size. What extra value are you actually receiving? The texture feels soft. The loaf lasts a week in your bread bin without going stale. But that is not freshness. That is chemical engineering. Real bread goes stale. Real bread develops mold. That is how you know it is actually food. Number 7, Kingsmill. Now at number 7, we have Kingsmill. You have seen the adverts. The bright packaging, the promise of wholesome grains and nutritious slices, the implication that you are making a healthy choice for your family. But Kingsmill has been caught misleading consumers at the highest level of regulatory scrutiny. In 2025, the Real Bread campaign filed formal complaints with the Advertising Standards Authority over Kingsmill's marketing claims for its 50/50 bread. The company was prominently promoting the loaf with the claim that 2 slices provided 50% of your daily whole grain. It sounds impressive. It sounds scientific. It makes you think you're getting something genuinely nutritious. Except it was based on American dietary guidelines, not UK recommendations. There is no formal UK guideline for how much whole grain consumers should be eating. Kingsmill cherry-picked American standards because they produced a more impressive marketing number. They used foreign dietary guidance to sell bread to British consumers, who would naturally assume the claim related to their own country's health recommendations. The ASA investigated. Kingsmill quietly removed the claim from its advertising and website without waiting for a formal ruling. They did not fight to defend the claim because they knew it was indefensible. The claim disappeared, but the damage to consumer trust remains. But the problems do not stop at misleading marketing. Consumers describe Kingsmill as having a chemical smell, like ammonia, that gets worse after a few days in the bread bin. The smell intensifies as the loaf sits. Others say it feels like plastic to the touch, stiff and artificial, nothing like the soft give of real bread. One reviewer on Mumsnet wrote that they could not classify it as bread at all. It is hideous, they said. Even my 8-year-old no longer likes it. For seniors with sensitive stomachs or digestive issues, bread that smells and feels wrong is not just unpleasant. It may contain additives and preservatives your body struggles to process. The chemical smell is a warning sign your senses are trying to communicate. Kingsmill uses preservatives that allow loaves to sit in bread bins for over 2 weeks without developing visible mold. Think about that carefully. Real bread made from flour, water, yeast and salt goes stale within days. It develops mold within a week in warm conditions. What do they put in Kingsmill to make it last so long? The answer is a cocktail of emulsifiers, preservatives and processing aids that may not even appear on the label. Under current UK law, processing aids do not need to be declared on packaging. A processing aid is classified as a substance that assists manufacturing but is not intended to remain in the final product in significant amounts. The manufacturer decides what counts as significant. You have no idea what you are actually eating. In 2006, Kingsmill was at the centre of a malicious tampering scare when foreign objects, including glass and a needle, were found in packaging at a bakery distribution centre in the southeast. While these incidents were sabotage rather than manufacturing errors, they revealed how vulnerable industrial bread supply chains can be. Products travel huge distances through multiple facilities before reaching your kitchen. At any point, something can go wrong. What is the worst bread experience you have ever had? Drop it in the comments below. If this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It is free and it means you will never miss these exposés. Number 6. Robert's Bakery. Coming in at number 6, we have Robert's Bakery, a 138-year-old family business from Northwich in Cheshire. A name that sounds reassuring and traditional, the kind of regional bakery you assume must care about quality because they have been doing this for over a century. But Robert's Bakery is in crisis, and consumers are paying the price. In June 2023, a devastating fire at Robert's Northwich factory destroyed nearly 2/3 of production capacity. The flames tore through the facility, crippling the company's ability to make bread. This was not a minor incident. This was a catastrophic event that fundamentally changed the business. The company was forced to outsource production to other bakeries. Bread bearing the Roberts name was suddenly being made in facilities Roberts did not own by workers Roberts did not employ, using processes Roberts could not directly oversee. According to financial documents filed with Companies House in late 2025, this outsourcing led to quality issues and further loss of sales as customers turned to competitors. The company's own official filings acknowledged that quality suffered. The prolonged disruption resulted in ongoing supply challenges and damaged the reputation for reliability. When consumers bought Roberts bread during this period, many had no idea it was not actually made by Roberts anymore. The packaging looked the same, the name was the same, but the bread inside was different. Former employees have described a company in decline even before the fire. Reviews on employment sites like Indeed paint a troubling picture. Workers mention poorly maintained vehicles, low hygiene standards, and a blame culture throughout the organisation. One worker wrote that they had seen the rise and fall of Roberts, and right now they are at rock bottom. For consumers, this means bread produced under inconsistent conditions with compromised quality control. Supply chains have been disrupted, standards have slipped. The bread you buy under the Roberts name may not even be made by Roberts anymore, and even when it is, the company has admitted its own quality has suffered. In October 2025, Roberts filed a notice of intention to appoint administrators. The company is fighting for survival. More than 400 jobs hang in the balance. Meanwhile, Warburtons has been circling, potentially absorbing parts of the business. The UK bread market is consolidating rapidly. 3 major manufacturers, Allied Bakeries, which owns Kingsmill, Hovis and Warburtons, now account for nearly 3/4 of all wrapped sliced bread sales in the UK. When a company like Roberts struggles, it either gets absorbed by the giants or disappears entirely, leaving fewer choices for consumers who want alternatives. When a company is struggling financially, cutting corners becomes inevitable. Cheaper ingredients, faster production, less oversight, fewer quality checks. The bread suffers, and ultimately your health suffers. Stick around. The solution is at the very end of this video, and it could change how you shop forever. Number 5, Lidl Bakery. At number 5, we have Lidl Bakery. Walk into any Lidl store in the country and the smell hits you immediately. Warm bread, golden crusts, the irresistible aroma of something freshly baked. It makes your mouth water. It makes you feel like you have stepped into a proper bakery rather than a discount supermarket. It feels irresistible. It feels authentic. It is neither. The Real Bread campaign has exposed the truth behind supermarket in-store bakeries, and Lidl is one of the worst offenders. Lidl makes nothing fresh from scratch in any of its UK stores. Not a single loaf, not a single roll, not a single croissant. The products marketed as freshly baked are manufactured elsewhere in industrial facilities, often in other countries entirely. They are chilled or frozen, transported long distances in refrigerated lorries, and merely rebaked in store using what the Real Bread campaign calls loaf tanning salons. This is not baking, this is reheating. The bread was made days or weeks earlier. It was frozen, it was transported hundreds of miles, and then it was warmed up in an oven at your local Lidl to create that irresistible smell. The illusion of freshness hides a reality of industrial production on a massive scale. Part-baked bread requires additional preservatives and processing aids to survive freezing, transport, and rebaking. These additives may not appear on labels because they are classified as processing aids under UK food law. In 2024, Lidl quietly dropped its freshly baked signage after complaints from the Real Bread campaign were referred to trading standards. The company denied any wrongdoing but changed its marketing anyway. If the claims were accurate, if the bread really was freshly baked, why would they remove the signs? Why would they back down? For seniors who believe they are making a healthier choice by buying fresh bread from the supermarket bakery rather than pre-packaged sliced loaves, this is a betrayal. You are paying premium prices for industrial products disguised as craft baking. The warm bread that smelled so good is not what you thought it was. Research from Zoe, the nutrition science company founded by Professor Tim Spector, shows that ultra-processed foods spike blood sugar harder and faster than real food. If you start your day with toast made from this bread, your blood sugar may spike and crash by mid-morning, affecting concentration, mood, and appetite throughout the day. For seniors managing diabetes, trying to maintain steady energy levels, or dealing with the foggy feeling that comes from blood sugar fluctuations, the source of your bread matters more than marketing would have you believe. Number 4. Aldi Bakery. Number 4 on our list is Aldi Bakery. The same story, the same illusion, different branding on the signs. Aldi's in-store bakery operates on an identical model to Lidl. Frozen dough manufactured in industrial facilities, part-baked products shipped from abroad, finished in store ovens to create the smell and appearance of fresh baking. The Real Bread campaign investigated all of the UK's 10 largest supermarket chains. None of them makes bread fresh from scratch in all of its stores. Some make nothing from scratch in any of their stores whatsoever. Aldi falls firmly into this second category. The products you see in their bakery section were not made there. They were not even made in this country in many cases. They were manufactured elsewhere, frozen, transported, stored, and then reheated to give you the impression of artisanal quality. Consumer forums are filled with complaints about Aldi bread going mouldy remarkably quickly once opened, despite lasting weeks in sealed packaging. Some loaves develop white fuzzy patches within days of opening. Others develop a sour smell that indicates bacterial growth. This contradiction reveals the truth about preservatives. They keep bread stable in controlled industrial conditions, in sealed packaging at regulated temperatures. But once the seal is broken and the product meets real kitchen humidity and temperature fluctuations, it fails rapidly. For seniors with respiratory conditions, asthma or COPD, mold exposure is genuinely dangerous. Mold spores can trigger asthma attacks, cause allergic reactions, and create respiratory inflammation. Even if you cannot see the spores, they may already be present in bread that smells slightly off. The fruity, sour smell some consumers report is often the first sign of contamination. Cut away the visible mold and eat the rest? That approach does not work with bread. Mold sends invisible filaments called hyphae throughout soft foods. By the time you see spots on the surface, the entire loaf may be contaminated. Pesticide Action Network, UK, found that bread products containing traces of multiple pesticides were found in supermarket own brands including Aldi, Asda, Co-op, Iceland, Lidl, Marks & Spencer, Morrisons, Ocado, Sainsbury's, Tesco and Waitrose. The proportion of UK bread containing 2 or more pesticides has doubled in recent years. Over 50% of bread now contains potentially hazardous pesticide cocktails. You are not just eating bread, you are eating chemical residues from industrial farming. These pesticides were designed to kill living organisms. They remain in the grain through milling, through baking, and into your digestive system. Ever notice how the cheapest foods seem to cause the most health problems? Is that really a coincidence? Number 3. Sainsbury's Bakery and own brand bread. At number 3, we have Sainsbury's Bakery and own brand bread. Sainsbury's positions itself as a premium supermarket, higher quality than Aldi or Lidl, better ingredients than Tesco, more trustworthy than the discount chains. Their green and orange branding is designed to evoke natural, wholesome values. But the Real Bread campaign lodged formal complaints against Sainsbury's with trading standards over how the company markets its in-store bakery products. The campaign argued that claims like freshly made every day were misleading when products were not actually made from scratch on site. Sainsbury's quietly dropped the phrase from their signage. Like Lidl, they made changes without admitting wrongdoing. They did not fight to defend their marketing because they knew it could not withstand scrutiny. The pattern repeats across the industry. Sainsbury's also uses bleached and heavily processed flour in some of its lower-cost bread ranges. Bleaching uses chemical agents to artificially whiten flour and weaken the natural gluten structure. This creates a softer texture but fundamentally changes how the bread affects your body. Bleached flour digests more like sugar than complex carbohydrate. Your body breaks it down rapidly, causing faster blood sugar spikes compared to bread made from unprocessed flour. For seniors managing blood sugar levels, prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, this is critical information that never appears on the packaging. The label says flour. It does not say chemically bleached and processed flour stripped of natural nutrients. You are left to assume one thing while buying something quite different. Research indicates that ultra-processed bread causes sharper blood sugar spikes than genuinely fresh bread made using traditional methods. If you are diabetic or pre-diabetic, if your doctor has advised you to watch your carbohydrate intake, the source of your bread matters more than you might think. The preservative calcium propionate appears in many Sainsbury's own brand loaves. As mentioned earlier, studies link this additive to insulin resistance and metabolic disruption. Research published in Diabetes Care suggested that propionate could interfere with glucose metabolism, potentially increasing diabetes risk with chronic exposure. You may be sabotaging your health with every slice, every morning, thinking you are making a reasonable choice when the evidence suggests otherwise. Number 2. Marks and Spencer. Number 2 on our list is Marks and Spencer, the premium choice, the store where quality is guaranteed. M&S markets its bakery section as clean, wholesome and baked in store today. The packaging shows rustic wooden boards and artisanal typography. The displays use wicker baskets and handwritten style labels. Everything is designed to evoke a village bakery rather than a multinational corporation. It is theatre. Very expensive theatre, not reality. In 2024, Trading Standards opened an investigation into M&S after the Real Bread campaign found breads containing up to 15 ingredients despite front-of-pack claims of only 5. The company was grouping multiple flours into one item, hiding complexity behind simplified marketing. They were using dried sourdough powders instead of real fermented sourdough, capturing the marketing value of the term while avoiding the cost and time of genuine production. M&S products labelled only 5 ingredients were found to have 11 ingredients listed on the back of the pack, or 15 if you count the fortifications added to flour by law. The company was playing word games with the truth. When confronted, M&S said it was reviewing its labeling and marketing claims. The company did not apologize. It did not admit error. It simply began making quiet changes while maintaining that everything was acceptable. The investigation also revealed that nothing in the bakery section of any M&S store is made from scratch on site. All products are manufactured elsewhere in industrial facilities and merely rebaked in store. Some products are manufactured outside the UK entirely in factory facilities that customers never see. Signs in M&S stores proudly boast of croissants made in France, but you will never see signage admitting loaves manufactured on a 550-hectare industrial estate in North Wales. M&S charges premium prices. Their bread costs significantly more than equivalent products from other supermarkets. Consumers expect premium quality in return. What they receive is industrial bread dressed up in artisanal clothing, sold at a markup that reflects marketing rather than manufacturing quality. For seniors who pay more because they believe M&S offers safer, cleaner food for their families, this represents a profound betrayal of trust. You are not paying for better ingredients. You are paying for better packaging and more convincing theatre. A Which investigation found that around 75% of supermarket sourdough loaves do not contain the correct ingredients for authentic sourdough bread. M&S was among the brands deemed fake by the investigation. Only Waitrose's white sourdough was found to be truly authentic, using proper sourdough starter and traditional methods. Ever noticed how these brands keep getting caught but never actually change? What does that tell you about their priorities? Number 1, Tesco Bakery and own brand bread. And finally, at number 1, we have Tesco Bakery and own brand bread, the biggest supermarket in Britain, the most dominant grocery retailer. And when it comes to bread safety, one of the most problematic. Tesco operates the largest in-store bakery network in the UK. Walk into any major Tesco and you will find racks of bread marketed as freshly baked. The smell fills that section of the store. It draws you in, but like every other major supermarket, nothing is baked fresh from scratch. Products are manufactured centrally in industrial facilities, frozen, shipped to distribution centres, delivered to stores, and rebaked in ovens designed to brown and warm rather than genuinely bake. Pesticide Action Network UK ranked Tesco 6th out of 10 supermarkets for pesticide reduction efforts in their 2024 assessment. While the company has restricted some highly toxic neonicotinoids, the insecticides notorious for driving pollinator declines worldwide, they still allow their use in supply chains with explicit permission. Many hazardous pesticides remain in use within Tesco's global supply chains. The chemicals include water contaminants shown to harm aquatic species and bee-toxic compounds that are devastating pollinator populations. Tesco takes action when residue testing detects levels reaching the legal safety limit. Other supermarkets, including higher-end retailers, take action at 50% of the limit or even lower. Tesco waits until the problem becomes critical before responding. They operate at the edge of what is legally acceptable rather than pursuing genuine reduction. For seniors concerned about chemical exposure, this matters enormously. Pesticide residues accumulate in the body over time. Daily bread consumption means daily exposure. The long-term effects are still being studied, but early research links chronic pesticide exposure to neurological damage, hormonal disruption, and increased cancer risk. Tesco's own brand bread also contains the usual suspects we have discussed throughout this video: calcium propionate, emulsifiers, processing aids that remain invisible on labels, the same industrial recipe used across the industry. The Real Bread campaign has complained about Tesco's marketing. The company has made some changes but refuses to acknowledge wrongdoing. The pattern is identical across every major brand. Quiet corrections, no apologies, no admission that consumers were misled. Do you think the government protects consumers or the food industry? Where do you think the priorities really lie? Safe recommendations. Now for the truth you have been waiting for throughout this entire video. We have shown you the problems, we have exposed the risks, but we promised solutions, and here they are. Safe pick number 1, Vogel's bread. Vogel's was created based on the principles of pioneering Swiss nutritionist Alfred Vogel, who lived to the age of 94 and believed passionately in wholesome natural foods. He understood that the best quality of life starts with a well-balanced diet, free from artificial interference. The company's products are made without artificial additives or preservatives. Their clean label philosophy prioritizes taste and nutrition over shelf life. They do not use anything that could be construed as artificial or unnatural. Vogel's soya and linseed bread has become a favorite among diabetics and health-conscious consumers because it is high in fiber and protein while remaining low in sugar. Diabetes nurses across the UK have recommended it as a suitable option for those managing blood sugar. The combination of soya and linseeds provides omega-3 fatty acids and plant proteins that support heart health. The bread does not contain stabilizers or artificial preservatives. It has a shorter shelf life than mass-produced alternatives, typically lasting 4 to 5 days rather than 2 weeks. But that is the point. That is how you know it is actually food rather than a chemistry experiment. Vogel's is available at Waitrose, Ocado, and larger co-op stores across the country. You can also order online for home delivery through from major grocery platforms. It costs slightly more than industrial bread, typically around £2 to £3 per loaf, but delivers genuine nutritional value rather than empty marketing promises. For seniors managing diabetes, blood pressure, or cholesterol, Vogel's offers a safer alternative without the hidden chemical load of mainstream brands. Your body can actually process and benefit from the ingredients rather than struggling against additives it was never designed to handle. Safe pick number 2, Jackson's Yorkshire Champion Bread. Made in Yorkshire from wheat grown and milled in the county, Jackson's bread represents the opposite of faceless industrial processing. This is bread with provenance. You know where it comes from, you know how it is made. The white bloomer has a distinctive sourdough taste created through proper slow fermentation. The brown variety includes oats and barley for added nutrition and texture. These are real ingredients you can see and taste rather than e-numbers and processing aids. Jackson's does not use artificial preservatives. The company has invested over £20 million in its whole bakery to maintain quality standards and modernize production while preserving traditional methods. Consumers report that Jackson's bread does not cause the bloating associated with mass-produced loaves. Many people who had given up on bread because of digestive discomfort have found they can eat Jackson's without problems. Reviews describe it as the way bread used to taste before industrial methods took over British baking. The simpler ingredient list and traditional methods produce bread that your body can actually process. Real bread is easier to digest because it has been fermented properly, breaking down compounds that can cause bloating and discomfort in ultra-processed alternatives. Products are available at Waitrose, Morrisons, Asda, and other supermarkets, though availability varies by region. Online ordering is also available for home delivery. For seniors who have given up on bread because it causes digestive discomfort, bloating, or blood sugar problems, Jackson's may offer a way back to enjoying toast and sandwiches without the health concerns that come with mainstream brands. Your health is not a marketing opportunity. The brands filling supermarket shelves have betrayed your trust with misleading labels, hidden additives, and industrial processes disguised as craft baking. They tell you the bread is fresh when it was frozen. They tell you it is healthy when it is filled with preservatives. They charge premium prices for industrial products wrapped in artisanal packaging. But now you know the truth. Subscribe now, and if you're watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.